Hey there. As you're listening to this episode, you are likely already thinking about what 2025 is going to look like for you. We're starting to get to that time of year when the holidays are getting closer. Maybe some of your team is taking time off. Maybe you've got a little bit of extra time to look ahead. What I want you to do is promise yourself something. That over the next 30 or 35 minutes, however long this podcast episode is, that you really focus on what you want in 2025. Because I know that if you're like me, as soon as you click off the podcast, something else is going to claim your time. It's a busy time of year. Family comes to town. If you have children, they may be on summer vacation, and all the holiday celebrations are starting to get into full swing. So even though this is a busy time, just check in with yourself here for the next 30 minutes or so and take this time to really think about your next year. Invest this time in yourself because trust me, by the time 2025 rolls around, and it'll be here before you know it, you'll be so glad you took the time to do this planning. So we're going to be diving into how powerful it can be to set a clear vision and make a solid, actionable 12-month plan that supports your big picture goals. So let's dive in. Hey there, welcome to another episode of the Her Business Podcast. I'm Susie Daphnis, and today we're talking about a topic that is very much needed as we approach the end of the year, and that is big picture planning. Now, if you don't already know, November and December are planning months inside of Her Business. Planning is one of our 8 Her Business growth zones, and planning really helps our members get clear on what they need to organize and plan for, and then throughout the year we dive into actual strategies to make those plans happen. And every year we work with our members to create a 12-month plan. It's one overarching plan that can be their guiding light when life happens throughout the months. And then every quarter we are checking in, reviewing our plans and resetting our goals where needed, or just rediverting our attention to the things that are going to help us get those 12-month goals. So first I want to ask you a question. How often do you feel like you're running in circles, spending every minute of your day on tasks that don't seem to really be moving you in any direction? Has that been you lately? I want to make a point that being busy is not the same as being productive, and I know that might sound obvious, but if you don't have a clear vision of what your year looks like, then it's hard to know what each day is going to look like. And that can mean that your day can be filled with meaningless, time-sucking tasks. So are the tasks you're doing going to move you towards your goal today, this week, this month, this quarter, this year? So if you have a little bit of a vague, big, beautiful vision for your business, but actually getting to that place feels like spaghetti being thrown against a wall, hoping something will stick, you might be missing this essential piece. As great as it is to have a big conceptual idea of what you want your business to look like, what you need is a plan that will get you there. A thought out, well-detailed plan in front of you that will get you from where you are now, right, point A, where you're dreaming and visualizing what your business could be, to point B, which is actually living a life you love and running a business that brings you energy and money and all the good things that you want. So today I'm going to walk you through how to do that. And I walk you through my framework for setting a vision and creating what we call a big kahuna goal. I'll explain what that is. And that is a clear single focus for the next 12 months that can revolutionize your business. I also share why having a solid plan helps us spend less time in the day-to-day chairs and more time building a business that feels light, joyful, and profitable. And by the end of this episode, you'll have actionable steps to design a plan that lets you show up with more clarity, confidence, and focus in the coming year. All right, so let's start with the big picture. This might sound simple, but it's absolutely essential. And that is to have a clear vision. A clear vision is the foundation for everything that we want to create. I know we hear about vision a lot, and it's easy to brush it off as something you don't need to put a lot of thought into. You just get into the doingness. But a vision, when we define it and we commit to it, becomes the map that we can reference at every crossroads, at every turn, that'll guide us in the direction of where we really want to go. Because business is like a giant corn maze, and without a vision, you're going to go into it head first, not having a map to follow. That's not what we want to do. We want to have a map in your back pocket that you can reference whenever you need it. So when I'm talking about a vision, I'm not talking about a 25,000-page plan. I'm talking about something that's really clear and definable. Now, the vision only works if we're specific about it. So right now, I want you to think about what a truly successful 2025 looks like for your business. How does your life change? Maybe it's finally hitting an income threshold that you've been reaching for. Maybe it's finally hiring someone new for your team. Maybe it's launching that new program or product or service that you've been dreaming about for the last few years. Imagine what that could look like if it were fully realized. And while this big vision is motivating, I know it can also be daunting. That's why we don't stop with just this vague concept of a vision. We narrow our bigger vision into what we like to call at Her Business a big kahuna goal. This is something we do with everyone inside of Her Business across all our programs. It's a single overarching goal that, if achieved in the next 12 months, would revolutionize your business. I'm going to say that again. It's a single overarching goal that, if achieved in the next 12 months, would revolutionize your business. So this isn't just any goal. This is the goal that can change everything. It's the difference between just getting by and really thriving. So if you could only accomplish one thing in 2025 that would bring you closer to your ultimate vision, what would it be? That's your big kahuna. And to make this work, we want the goal to be clear. It shouldn't be a vague hope or a maybe or something kind of undefined. It should be something that you can see yourself achieving, even if it's a little bit outside of where you are now. But here's the key. You're going to be able to clearly measure by the end of the year if it's been done. It's something that you can look at next year, this time next year, and say, yes, I achieved it, or no, I didn't. So there's no ambiguity, just a clear target. So for some, the big kahuna goal might be financial. Maybe it's reaching a certain revenue goal that finally allows you to invest in growing your team, or maybe it's a profit goal. For others, maybe it's transitioning out of a part-time business into a full-time business. Maybe for some, it's from working 7 days a week to working 4 days a week. Or maybe it's officially launching that new campaign, having it live and making money for you by the end of 2025. Whatever it is for you, it's personal and it's powerful and it's uniquely yours. So let's pause for a moment. I want you to think about what your big kahuna could be for 2025. Is it a revenue milestone? Is it building and growing to a particular size? Is it creating a better work-life balance? And what does that specifically mean? And what does it make possible for you and your family? Whatever it is, let's make that the foundation of your 2025 plan. So pause this episode if you need to give yourself a couple of minutes to think about this. And once you are clear on that, it becomes so much easier to ward off distractions and stay focused. You'll start recognizing what aligns with your big kahuna and what doesn't. And as we go deeper today, I'll be sharing the planning framework that I use to break this goal down into actionable, achievable steps so that by the end of 2025, you are looking back with a huge sense of accomplishment. So now that you've got that big kahuna goal in mind, I hope you've taken a moment to think about that big overarching goal that, if realized, would revolutionize your business. Now it's time to talk about how you're actually going to make it happen. And this is where so many of us get stuck. That's why inside of Her Business, we have a planning day where we go through these things that I'm talking about today, and we start to work on our 12-month plan, and we spend November and December really dialing in our plans. But for now, for you listening here, that I really appreciate you doing, this is a planning framework that I've used over the years, and it's what we teach members, as I said, and it's designed to help you focus on a few things that really matter, not all the things. Instead of trying to spread yourself thin by trying to do all the things, do this. Let's start at the top with your vision. We've already touched on this, but it's worth repeating. Your vision is your why, the big reason you do what you do. It's what pulls you forward when things get tough. And from that big vision, we can start breaking it down. So we have that big vision, then we have the big kahuna goal, which we've just talked about. Now that we have an idea of what our big overarching big kahuna goal is, we can look at our strategic objectives. Now, these are broad areas of focus that help you achieve your big kahuna goal. Now, you might only need 2 or 3 of these key objectives to get that goal. It doesn't end there, and I'll give you some examples. So, say your big kahuna goal is to double your revenue and you have a particular number in mind. Then one of your strategic objectives might be to build a reliable sales funnel. Another might be to grow your team. Another might be to grow the number of people on your email list. Now, with these objectives, you're then going to go ahead and create projects that serve those objectives. So think of these as mini goals that directly support your big kahuna. So say my strategic objective is to generate 3,000 more emails on my email list, then I might have 3 or 4 projects in the year that serve that strategic objective, which helps me towards my big kahuna revenue goal. So staying on this email list idea, if that was an objective for you, a project could be creating a lead magnet or launching a new email campaign. So these projects are tangible, achievable. They allow you to break down your strategic objectives into what are the projects that I need to do in order to get that strategic objective, which will allow me to get my big kahuna. So all of a sudden, this big conceptual vision for 2025 seems a lot more doable. You can start to see as you break this down, well, how many projects do I really need to do, and what is just going to be wasting my time? Am I doing projects or considering projects that aren't actually going to lead to a strategic objective, that aren't going to lead to a big kahuna? Because once we've gone from our vision to our big kahuna, to our strategic objectives, to our projects, now we're getting into the actions. They are the day-to-day things that you will do or you will leverage, the emails that you'll write, the social posts you'll write, the small tasks that you will do inside of every project. Now, these are the things that can be leveraged, but what can happen if we approach planning the wrong way is that we start to think about all the tasks that we need to do and we get overwhelmed, and they're not all leading to something meaningful, something that's going to really move the needle. So the rule to making this planning framework powerful and successful is that if something does not support your big kahuna, it doesn't make it onto the plan. So no random projects, no shiny distractions. Everything we focus on has to serve that big goal. Can you imagine a business like this? That's exactly the types of businesses that we're creating inside of Her Business. That is why on average Her Business member businesses generate more revenue than the average small business in Australia. And I'm so proud to say that. So here is the thing, clarity and focus that you gain from going through this exercise is so worth it. By knowing where you're headed and keeping a clear, defined path, you're going to feel more energized, less scattered, more in control of your business journey. So let's get into some examples to see this framework in action. I'll go through a few types of businesses to help you see how this can apply, whether you're a solopreneur, a service provider, running an e-commerce store, etc. So let's start with an example of a consultant who wants to make 2025 the year that she doubles her income while working fewer hours. Her big kahuna goal might be to reach a consistent 6-figure income. Now, that's a big goal, but it's achievable when we break it down into the key focus areas that I mentioned before. So for her, the first strategic objective to be to create a more leveraged revenue stream, like an online course or group coaching program that allows her to serve more clients without adding more one-on-one hours. A second objective could be to automate some of her client onboarding and project management processes to free up her time. Now, under these strategic objectives, she's going to have specific projects. So, for example, with the online course objective, right, which is going to leverage her time, her projects could include creating the course curriculum, designing a launch strategy, setting up a simple sales funnel. For the automation objective, her projects might include researching and implementing client management software or creating templates for her onboarding emails or setting up an automated calendar for scheduling, right? All these take time, energy, people, resources. That's why we want to limit the number of strategic objectives and then the number of projects for each strategic objective. And now let's have a look at the actions that will move these projects forward. These are the small daily or weekly tasks that she'll complete or one of her team will complete. So for the course curriculum, an action could be dedicating 2 hours a week to outline and develop each module. For the onboarding automation project, she might include time to test the client management system and make sure everything flows smoothly before it goes live. Now, with this setup, each piece of work she is doing is intentional and aligned with her big kahuna goal, doubling her income without doubling her hours. That's what she said she wanted. So let's look at another example. So say we have a small retail business owner who wants to increase her store's online presence and grow her sales beyond her local community, because now she's selling online. Her big kahuna objective could be to generate 50% of her revenue from online sales by the end of the year. So in 12 months' time, she's going to have 50% of her revenue coming from online sales to supplement her offline income. So for this goal, a strategic objective might be building an e-commerce website and driving traffic to it. Another objective could be improving her brand visibility on social media. So there's 2 strategic objectives. So each of these objectives will have projects. So for the website objective, projects might include choosing an e-commerce platform, hiring a designer, creating product listings with great photos and descriptions. For the social media objective, her projects could include setting up a content calendar, collaborating with a niche specific influencer, or running a few targeted ads to build awareness. Then when we start to look into actions, for product listings, one action might be dedicating a morning each week to writing descriptions and taking product photos. For the influencer collaboration that she might do, an action could be researching influencers in her niche and sending out initial outreach emails. So by following this structure, she can track her progress step by step and see exactly how each small action, which takes up her time and energy, connects back to her big kahuna, which is to grow her online sales to 50% of her revenue. One more quick example. Let's say we've got a service provider, like a personal trainer who wants to start working with more clients but doesn't want to burn out. So her big kahuna goal might be to offer group programs that allow her to scale her business while still delivering high-quality personalized coaching. For her, a strategic objective could be to create a small group program that clients can join. A second objective might be to streamline her client management so that she can handle larger groups more easily. So under each objective, we're going to have projects, right? So for the group program, she might focus on outlining the program, setting up pricing and payment options, and planning a launch. For the client management objective, her projects could include organizing her calendar, using software for booking and payments, creating some templates for client check-ins. Then, you're following me now, right? We get down to the actions. For outlining the program, she's going to have actions that might include setting aside an hour each day to work on different aspects of the curriculum. For the booking and payments, it could be that an action for that project could be researching different payment platforms and testing them out. Now, these actions are small, manageable steps, but each one is bringing her closer to her vision of working with more clients in a way that's sustainable for her. And I hope that you're seeing with these examples that no matter what your business type or your goals, you can make this planning framework work for you. Having a big kahuna goal keeps you motivated. The strategic objectives give you focus. The projects give you direction. The actions keep you moving forward. And when you set your big kahuna goal and start breaking it down in this way, you're going to be amazed at how much progress you can make. So by now, you should have a pretty clear idea of what your big kahuna goal is and how this planning framework can help you bring it to life. But here is the key. Making a plan is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you commit to it, you stay focused, and you keep yourself accountable. Because let's be honest, once you're into the year, it's so easy to get pulled in a million directions. You might see other people trying different strategies, or you get that urge to try something new. I know, it happens to me too. And before you know it, you're off course, chasing shiny objects that don't bring you closer to your big kahuna. But when you're clear on where you're going and when you have that structure in place, it becomes so much easier to stick to your plan. And you'll find it easier to say no to the distractions that don't serve your big goals and to keep the clarity and focus you need to actually make progress when you approach your 12-month plan this way. And now, what is the best way to stay accountable with your goals? That's letting others in, checking in with them, being intentional about having people around you that will support you in achieving your goal. I cannot stress enough the power of sharing your goals, especially your big kahuna goal, with someone who can support you. It could be a business partner, a mentor, a close friend, or even a group within her business. There's actually statistical evidence to say that when you set a goal, you have a particular percentage chance of getting it. When you declare the goal, your chances of getting that goal are increased. But when you know you need to show up and be accountable to someone on a regular basis on the progress of that goal, your chances of succeeding are through the roof. I don't have those statistics on hand, but they're incredible. That's why inside of her business, we have regular check-ins. So we have what we call our growth groups, which are peer-to-peer accountability groups and advisory groups. And what we do is we match 4 or 5 women together, and they connect with each other on a regular basis on their own schedule to share their progress and hold each other accountable to their big kahuna goals. And it's such a powerful way to stay committed because you're not trying to do this alone. There's people who are that gentle nudge on your back to move you towards what you say you want to do. And that has been such a powerful driver for me, is to knowing that there were other women who are helping me stay on the hook for what I said I wanted. There's a whole community of women who are right there with you inside of Her Business, cheering you on and offering that extra nudge that you need. Now, one last tip. Don't be afraid to revisit your plan and make adjustments as you go. If you have a major life change, or if something really shifts your perspective, you gain some new skills or knowledge, you can go ahead and change your goals. Likely though, if your big kahuna is the one thing that would revolutionize your business, that is the one to stick with. So while life happens and businesses evolve, that big kahuna is going to be your guiding light. And I'm really here to support you to get that big kahuna. The point is, having this structure gives you a clear path, but it's flexible enough for you to make adjustments. So as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this thought. Imagine where you'll be a year from now if you commit to this 12-month plan, if you commit to your big kahuna goal. Imagine the progress, the clarity, and the growth that you'll experience simply by taking intentional, focused steps towards that goal. By this time next year, you could be looking back and saying, hey, Susie, I did it. I actually made it happen. So let's commit together. Like, take that big kahuna goal you've thought of and decide that 2025 is going to be the year that you bring it to life. Make the plan, find your support. We're here for you if you want our support, and get ready for this incredible journey. And of course, if you're looking around saying, you know what, I don't have the support I need to make my big kahuna goal happen, then that might be exactly why you want to look at the Her Business Network. The network part of the name might make you think about awkward networking events and forced connections, but really we are a network of, a community of like-minded women who are dedicated to growing ourselves while growing our businesses. We have literally hundreds of resources and masterclasses and workshops to help women like you grow. And we have amazing events and retreats that bring people together. So if you're looking for that kind of community, because let's be honest, being a business owner can be isolating, go down in the show notes now and request an invitation to the network. I'll tell you where to find the show notes. And on the show notes, I'm also going to give you the opportunity to request a visual version of this 12-month map so that you have it as an easy-to-use sort of cheat sheet. So here's the thing. With the Her Business Network, we only open to new members once or twice a year, but you will be the first to know when we open up when you go ahead and join the waitlist. And once again, I'll put a link to that in our show notes, which you're going to find at herbusiness.com/282. Now, I love doing this show for you. I hope you'll take on board my ideas for your 2025 goals and 12-month plan, and you set that big kahuna and you really cement it as your vision for the year. Here's what I would love for you to do if you enjoyed this episode, and that is to head on over to Apple Podcasts and leave us a rating or review. It makes such a difference to me, and I'd be really happy to give you a shout out right here on the show if you do that. So I'll be back next week with another episode. Inspiring stories and lessons from successful female entrepreneurs is what we want to provide you here on the show. You're awesome. And if you're not already a subscriber, I encourage you to go ahead and click follow or subscribe wherever you are listening. And if you want to reach out to me, you can write to me personally at podcast@herbusiness.com, or you can message me at the Her Business account on Instagram. Enjoy the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next time right here on the Her Business podcast. Bye for now.